Columbia, along with other surrounding towns, on a regular basis. I also know that there's been talk that the developer will make money off of us, or I, Sandy Heisel, will make money. The answer is a resounding yes. I will make money, as well as all of the realtors in town that sell houses, or the realtors across the state that have buyers moving to this area. There will also be many people who prosper from this. If he brings his own crew into town, the hotels, the campgrounds, and the restaurants will prosper in the short term. If he works with the local lumberyards and local contractors for some things, they will prosper. When the people move in, the whole community will prosper. I am asking that you pursue this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Marshall and make it happen. There are towns across the state that would pay us to have the name of the developer that can do what Mark can do for our community. We should be doing whatever we can to help him get here. We should not be throwing up roadblocks with demanding letters and not returning emails and calls. I request that 2 weeks from now that you make this builder part of your agenda. The plan can be reviewed, the public can meet the builder, and we can move forward.
Thank you, Sandy. Is there anybody else who would like to speak at this time?
I was asked to come and represent Fitzgibbon Hospital today, kind of at the last minute, so I have a few prepared notes, but I'm going to speak a little bit more extemporaneously about our challenges that we face as one of the region's largest employers when we try to recruit qualified staff to Fitzgibbon Hospital. So we employ almost 500 employees. And I am Amy Weber. Let me give you my name first. Amy Weber. I'm Director of Payer, Public, and Governmental Relations for Fitzgibbon Hospital. That's a lot of roles, but as part of those roles, I've been involved in trying to recruit qualified physicians. On at least 2 occasions in the last 2 years, we've been successful in recruiting those physicians, but both of them are living out of town. They were unable to find adequate housing in Marshall. So that is something to keep in mind as you consider this development, regardless of who profits, who doesn't. I will remind you that I've been in this community for 43 years. I worked at the hospital when it was the old hospital. And when Fitzgibbon wanted to build a new hospital, there was an element of distrust. There were a lot of naysayers that that's never going to work, and look what we have now. So progress means change. And I would just ask everyone to have an open mind and know that if we bring a development to Marshall, it will benefit our community. I served on the Tourism Commission for almost 10 years, and I know that outside dollars coming in here are vital to making our cogs grow and our community prosper. So taking people around town, it's hard. I have to drive the physician in a certain route, so I avoid some blighted areas. I mean, this doesn't mention the trash that's in many of the houses and in the yards, and you have to pick your route so you're not going to immediately turn off somebody that wants to come to our community otherwise. That's a whole separate issue for another night. But having a new development for them to choose housing from would be huge. And on behalf of Fitzgibbon Hospital and the challenges we face, this is very important to bring to our community. We now finally have a new school. That was a huge barrier. You would take people by the elementary schools or the Beaker Middle School, and they're like, I don't think I want my child there. So we're on the right path. We just need to have an open mind and get something done in terms of affordable and nice housing. I'm not talking Section 8. I'm not talking affordable housing. I'm talking middle income professionals, housing they want to move into. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak at this time?
Well, I'm sure several of you know me. Bill Riggins. I've lived here for 44 years, and housing's been a problem ever since I moved here. I've done a lot of volunteer work, and I can tell you that I was on P&Z whenever that property was plotted for housing. back a long time ago. I have no idea now what the date was because I don't remember that far back. But I can also tell you that I spent about 4.5 years volunteering to do economic development work, and the biggest problem we had is no place for people to live. There's not been an affordable housing project here since I moved here 44 years ago. And if you don't have people here, I can tell you it's damn near impossible to get a company to even look at you to come here, because we don't have anybody here to employ. I don't know what the numbers are, because when I lost my wife, I changed my route of life. And it's been 10 years since I've looked at the figures and the statistics. But I can tell you back then, over 35% of the people that work here didn't live here because we didn't have a place for them to live. They drove in from out of town. I'm not telling you that all of those people would live here if we had housing, but back at that time, at least 25 or at least 75% of those 35% said that they would live here if we had housing. I can tell you that whenever Midstate sold out to MFA, the manager there tried to move here too instead of living in Columbia. He couldn't find no place to live. This guy is offering you millions of dollars, and if you don't step up and take it, all I can say is it's a total idiotic thing. Because if you look at the taxes, when you build a house, you're gonna get not only taxes, you're gonna get utilities, which the city makes money off of. You're gonna have at least, if 100 houses, you're gonna have at least 200, 250 people that's gonna eat, live here, and that kind of thing. So you're not talking about nickel dime stuff. We're talking about millions and millions of dollars. And right now, the way I understand it, it's not costing the city a dime except changing an ordinance. Can we afford to pass that up? If I'm wrong, tell me. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Good. Moving on to discussion and appropriate follow-up, we've got a request, we all got a request from Bud's Cafe to suspend code ordinances, section 600.070G, relating to drinking in public for September 19th and 20th of 2025. Has everybody had a chance to look at that? If so, I need a motion and a second to approve this.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Second one, we get a request from Marshall Chamber of Commerce to suspend code of ordinances, section 600.070G, relating to drinking in public for October 2025. That's the Chamber's little deal, right?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second. Swisher.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinances. Ms. Lewis, would you give the second reading by title only, please?
An ordinance of the City of Marshall, Missouri, amending Section 500-290 and Section 500-320 of the Code of Ordinances to establish testing requirements for applicants seeking a master plumber's license.
This is the second reading, as I understand that. Anybody got any more questions?
My understanding is you do not have to take a test if you already have a master plumber license, is that correct?
Jody?
My understanding was that our code did not allow for the reciprocity with the master plumbing license from another city. And that was the purpose of the adopting this code, was so that we could recognize that master plumber license from elsewhere, yeah.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve?
I make a motion.
Second.
Ms. Lewis, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Green, Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox.
Yes. Ordinance number 2, Ms. Lewis, could you give that the first reading by title only?
An ordinance accepting the budget for 2025-2026 of the City of Marshall, Missouri, as submitted by the Council Committee on the Finances for said City of Marshall, Missouri, and establishing all salaries as set out in said budget.
And again, I need a motion and a second to approve the first reading.
Make a motion to approve. Second, Allen.
Ms. Lewis, could I have a roll call?
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Green, Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Number 3, Ms. Lewis, could you give that first reading by title only?
An ordinance of the City of Marshall, Missouri, approving the annual operating budget for the city's Board of Public Works.
Good evening, Your Honor, Council. First, I'd like to thank everyone for the work session last week with the board to discuss some capital improvement projects that we have. And tonight, I'm here on behalf of the Board of Public Works to request council approval of the MMU 25-26 budget. This budget was approved by the board at its August 27th meeting. I'd like to thank the board for its work. We had a work session with the board on this budget. I'd like to thank them, Tony Bersano, and all of the MMU department heads for their work on this. This was truly a team effort, and a lot of work went into it. I do want to cover some of the budget highlights. We do have, when you have a system of water, wastewater, electric, and all that, and you've got infrastructure from 0 to 100 years old, you're going to have capital improvement projects every year. And I'll talk about just a few of these here. One of the big projects we're starting to work on is beginning phase. We have a 12-inch water transmission main from the water treatment plant in Malta Bend to the city of Marshall. It was installed in 1945, and it's approximately 8.5 miles long. We are in the process with our engineer to have that included in our water system master plan update, with that anticipated completion this November. Also, staying in the water department, I hate to call this the first year of increased water main replacements because College Street, I think that was officially the first. MMU did receive some grant funding. We were able to purchase $630,000 worth of water main materials, and using that grant funding and those materials, that will support water main replacement projects in our community for the next several years. And we do have that material on hand and have purchased all that. Moving over to the electric department, we do have a significant project. We were hoping to have it completed this year. We had some bidding issues, but replacement of the 15,000 volt switchgear at our Miami 1 substation is the one right next to Crescent Electric. That switchgear was installed in 1984, and we've had some issues with it, but we have new gear ordered. It's expected to be delivered in the spring of 2027, and that will coincide with the new MEC provided power transformer replacement. So with the MEC Energy Center, they are replacing 2 transformers for us, large power transformers, and we'll coordinate this work with that. Wastewater treatment plant, we're going to begin work on probably a multi-year project to replace the filter presses. The current presses were installed in 1993, and they're a handful. We're working on them every day, so it's time for them to go. That project will span several years, and an expected cost for that is around $3 million. We've been working with the engineer. We plan to self-perform the electrical work, which we hope will reduce the overall cost. We were able to do that with our UV system this last year. I think we saved several $100,000 by doing some of the work in-house. One thing that, there's a couple things in here we will see some increased revenue from, both as a utility in the city in one case. The Marshall Energy Center, that construction has begun. I don't know if you guys have been by there, but they got the building. The pre-engineered metal building has been offloaded. That project is being funded by the Missouri Public Utility Alliance, which we are a member of, and a member of their MOPET pool that we receive power from, so so we will get power off that project. We do anticipate an increase in electric revenue, natural gas transportation revenue, and revenue from maintenance services. While we may see some revenue from this budget, or from this project during this budget year, we did not include any of that in the budget. We don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, so to speak. So we're pretty confident we'll see a little bit this year. Once that thing's up and running in 2028, that's, equal to another industrial customer. So there'll be some, quite a bit of electric revenue and a 10% pilot the city will get off of that, which could be hopefully six figures. So there's things going on here that I think will be good for everybody. The MMU-owned generation, we do receive capacity credits for those units from our pool members. We are going to see that capacity payment increase. Currently, we're about $1,500 per megawatt. That will go to $5,500 per megawatt. We don't know how, at the pool, we don't know how they're going to implement that. They're going to implement it over time because that will increase costs for some members without generation. I think we could see that phased in this year. We don't have that plan, so we're not showing that increase in revenue there either. But that's probably going to be six figures, I'd say, or more, to kind of help maintain and take care of those units. We do have some increases in our budget. We're not immune to inflation. We get hit with it like everybody else, but some of the projects that we've got or some of the needs that we have are going to, require that we do raise rates. One of those rate increases is in the water department with the needed replacement of the 1945 12-inch water transmission main from the water treatment plant to Marshall, and then we've identified some needed improvements at the treatment plant itself. We had a system study done up there, I think like the year before last. I think we've got kind of the low-hanging fruit ones done, but we've got some high-dollar items that we're going to have to work in there. And we've also seen an increase just in our day-to-day costs. Lime, disinfectant, the cost to make waters continues to go up. So what we are proposing this year would be add $1.61 a month to the average residential water bill. And as we get some more costs in, we didn't want to get too big a rate increase up front. We want to kind of see where we get some of these costs in. If we can get them down, then we'll look at next year and kind of see how that goes. On the internet department, and this is a good story. I like telling this story. I think everybody knows MMU's in the internet business, and we've grown that department significantly. And I'll just kind of go back through a little bit of history and some numbers here. The board approved offering internet services in 2002. At that time, we had 3 IT employees. We did not add any staff until 2 years later. In 2005, we hired 2 outside fiber staff, and they began operating out of our electric distribution building. So it was a shared workspace. It stayed with those 2 outside fiber crew members until 2012. We expanded that crew a little bit more, and now that crew has grown to 9 fiber crew members for the outside plant work. And, they're still working out of somebody else's building, and it's crowded. We actually formed its own department in 2019. That department, that our subscriber count had grown enough, we felt it was time to form a department to support both the employees and the customers. Moving forward a little bit here. So now we originally had 3. We now have 14 employees in that department. We have planned and began planning and construction for a new facility for IT and broadband that would include administration. We have completed a draft design for a new facility in the spring of last year. Initial estimates for the facility were $6.3 million, and we plan to use the existing MMU property where the old power plant was at to locate that facility. Our plan, what we'd like to do is start work with the architect this October with anticipated completion in mid to late 2027. With that, we're gonna have to raise the internet rates. We've got to support that department. We've got to support its customers. We have not had any rate increases since we have offered broadband services. What we have done, since 2016, Tier 1 speed has increased 500%, from 250 megabits per second, from 20 megabits per second to 100 megabits per second. Our Tier 2 has increased over 300%, from 75 megabits per second to 250 megabits per second. And then our Tier 3 has increased over 600%. And now that's the speed. The cost has stayed the same, from 150 megabits per second to 1 gig. To support the IT and broadband's continued growth and need for a new facility, MMU is proposing a slight rate increase to each of its tiers. Tier 1 would raise from $30 a month to $31.50. Tier 2 would raise from $45 a month to $47.25, and Tier 3 from $70 to $73.50. I believe the development of a locally owned and operated internet company is something we can be very proud of. I mean, it's homegrown, home-built. At the time the board made this decision, all we had available in Marshall was dial-up. And you know, to have what we do today, this is, you know, I get a lot of good feedback. I talk to people from other communities. I think it's something we could be very proud of. Very few municipalities, if any, have access to internet that compares to that offered by MMU, both in terms of cost and speed. We should be very proud of what local control and ownership of utility services in Marshall has been able to accomplish. And I think, you know, it's been a group effort, a team effort, supported by the board, and that's got us where we're at. So you'll see, you know, we've got a facility planned for that group. I think when you build a business, you should support that business, and that's what we're trying to do here. So, and with that, I'll be happy to try to answer any questions. And if you got hard money questions, I brought Tony.
Just looking at your cost of your benefits, was that based on some experience that you're getting from your employees, or just that kind of national trend of what you see for the health, the life?
It's a national trend. We got lucky last year. I think last year we budgeted for around 15. I think it only ended up being like 5 or 6% increase.
Yeah.
And we realize we're probably not gonna get that every year, so we try to do worst case budget for worst case scenario.
Right, okay.
Yeah, if you've looked at very many of our budgets, we're pretty conservative. We don't like to count income before we get it. And, you know, I think we're probably a little bit higher on our power purchase this year, but that's okay. I'd rather have it a little bit high and come in low, and that's kind of our approach. We try to be a little bit conservative.
Anybody else got any questions, Jay? Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I need a motion and a second to approve the annual operating budget.
Make a motion we approve.
This is the first reading.
I'll second.
Mr. Lewis, could I have a roll call?
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Green, Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher.
Yes.
Appropriation. Mr. Lewis, could you do the first reading by title only?
An ordinance making the appropriation for the payment of accounts out of the different city funds.
I need a motion and a second to take it to the second reading.
Move to take it to a second reading.
Second.
Lewis, could I have a roll call?
Simmons,
Yes.
Green, Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt.
Yes.
Have a second reading by title only.
An ordinance making the appropriation for the payment of accounts out of the different city funds.
I need a motion and a second to approve.
Make a motion we approve.
Second, Gibson. Could I have a roll call?
Green, Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
discuss at this time?
Did we set a time for the, Amy, for the late September meeting
Yeah, it's at 11:45,
on September
30th,
30th? Okay. 11,
45.
okay, thank you.
Just, maybe for next time, for the people who came to ask about the housing, the progress on the housing development, if maybe we could all get an update on any progress or lack thereof for next time, or sometime between now and then. Because I don't remember what the holdup was. I remember there being one, but I don't remember what it was. But I'd like to know, and I think, yeah, probably would.
If you'd like, I can have the engineer from Lamp Reinerson come and give you an update directly following
That'd be great.
tonight's meeting. Okay, very good.
Drew, is there anything you'd like to discuss?
I made it. Exactly what Jim was talking about. Yeah, I heard there was a letter that went out. I wish we could all get that letter so that we don't, no, I mean in our emails, like before we get here. Like it went out last week or sometime, I don't know, or maybe it was in our packet, but anyway. Yeah, I wanted to get an update on that and just kind of see if it was the same kind of thing where that happened at CMAS, where the right people just weren't talking to one another. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, whatever Jim was saying.
You can do that. Anybody else got any other council business? Go ahead, John. I need a motion in a second to adjourn.
Well, I'm certainly not gonna do it. I just got here.
Do I have a motion in a second to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Yummy.
All in favor?
Aye.